This thing on? I hope so, man. Hey, the Tennessee Titans are not a good football team. And as a diehard fan, man, that saddens me to say, but it's just the reality of the situation right now. After watching every game this season, I come to the realization that we are just not a good football team. And I think the quicker that every fan, shall I say, comes to agreement with that, I think it'll make it a lot more stressful or stress free when it comes to watching these games, man, because they are bad. I think the first half of today's football game might have been the worst I've ever had to endure as a Titans fan. Like it has to go up there with the Patriots blowout. Um, Back in I don't know 2008, the snow game where it was like 15 or 52 to I don't even remember. It was horrible, horrible. This game is up there, man. That first half, bro, 28 skunk. Anyway, like I said, the Tennessee Titans are not a good football team. And that's okay. That's okay. I can come to terms with it. I'm all right with it. I'm looking to the future. I'm not saying that like I want us to lose every single game moving forward, but man, bro. Whew. Let's get into it, man. So again, welcome to the two-tone tailgate, where unfortunately this season I'm talking about everything Tennessee Titans. Moving forward, I'm trying to be here on a weekly basis. I know we're already past midway through the season, but I'm here, man. I'm here. My name is Snacks, and I just want to go through, today's game. Talk about some good spots, some highlights, some lowlights. Talk about next week's game, possibly. But man, let's get right into it. So today's game, like I said, we got demolished by the Washington Commanders, bro. I'm not saying like I don't want to say Commanders like they're a bad team or nothing like that, but damn, 19-42, bro. That is crazy, crazy. It was 28-0 at one point of the game. Like I didn't even want to watch anymore. 28-0, bro. It was 28-0 with like 12 minutes left in the second quarter. I've never seen no shit like that before. Um, but shout out to the Commanders, man. They were the better team going into the game. We were the underdogs, you know. They came in and dominated like from the jump. Like they scored touchdowns. When they got opportunities, they scored touchdowns. One thing that we have struggled to do all season, not just this game, but when they got in that red zone, they scored touchdowns. So again, shout out to the Commanders. Shout out to Jaden Daniels. Shout out to Brian Robinson. Shout out to Terry McClark. I can't even say his name. Shout out to T Mac. They hooped today. Point blank. Period. Usually I would say our defense has been. I'm gonna say it's been overhyped this year, but it damn near has been. I ain't gonna lie to you. Because at one point we were the number one ranked by yards. In the season, I was for a good portion of the season, honestly, probably for like the first 10 weeks of the year, and they were dubbing us as like a good defense, and we weren't bad per se, but we weren't great either by no stretch of the imagination. Like we were cool. And today, barring all the injuries, yes, we got a lot of injuries in the secondary. I don't know, our defense just did not look great today. Washington was just moving up and down the field. When they had opportunities, they my bad, y'all. I don't know why my mic is just going out. That's going to be a thing, I guess, I figured it out. But anyway, like I said, Commanders, we went to Washington. They did their thing. Jaden Daniels was looking every part of a good quarterback. Brian Robinson was running left and right all day. Um, it was a tough one to watch, bro. It was a tough one to watch. So as at this point, Tennessee Titans are 3-9 on the year, 8-5. It's funny going into this game. Like I'm real big into like the Facebook communities. I don't really be on Twitter like that. But there's a lot of like Facebook communities that I'm a part of that constantly talk about the Titans. And I'm not gonna lie, some people were talking about like there was a playoff hope for us to make the playoffs this year. And that was never that never even crossed my mind. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, no, the Tennessee Titans. I don't care. I don't care if we beat the Texans by 100 points last week. We were not going to the playoffs this year. And that's okay. Sometimes you just got to be real with yourself. That is okay. We are not a good football team from top to bottom. Like, our quarterback still developing, right? He hasn't made it yet. He's not established. Our wide receiver group is mid. Even when we had D-Hop, I wouldn't say it was elite by any stretch of the imagination. Our tight ends are like, what do they do? Shout out to Chig. He's been hooping as of late, but like what do our tight ends do? Right? Like we don't, top to bottom, when we look across the NFL, we just don't have a good football team. And that's fine. I just want us to be realistic with ourselves. Like it takes time. It's not going to be a overnight, miracle when it comes to the Tennessee Titans. Like we have a brand new head coach, brand new system. I'm not gonna call him a rookie. Will Levis is not a rookie, but he's still new. He's still developing. I'm not giving up on bro yet. I'm not gonna lie. I be seeing a lot of people putting mud on bro name. I'm not ready to give up on Will Levis. I know a lot of people are, but these last 4 weeks, he's been looking solid. Today was another solid day. I mean, did he do great? No. Did Will Levis do great today? He didn't really even have the opportunity to do great. Like the first half, I'm guaranteeing I haven't looked this up. If I look at time of possession, I'm not gonna look it up. I'm willing to bet it was probably like 40 to 15, 20 at best. Like we barely had the ball today, bro. Whether it was special teams, being special teams again, Tony Pollard fumbling the ball, which is not something he usually does. So I'm not even tripping on bro. But 2 fumbles. Like he barely touched the ball today. Look at this time possession. 1947 to 40-13. We barely had the ball today for Will Levis to even have that much of an impact. He had a really good drive at the end of the first half, going into halftime, 2-minute drill, got the ball down the field, made a hell of a escape. You know what I'm saying? Play to I think it was third down. I don't remember the distance, but it was third down or something. Got a rush because the offensive line can't block anybody. Did a little spin move and hit Calvin really down the field for a very solid play. Like I'm not giving up on Will Levis, just put it that way. But yeah, he barely touched the ball today. If you look at his stat line, 18 for 37. Even if you look at the 18 to 37, there were so many drops today. Like I don't know, bro. It was literally everything. Everything was going against bro, but I don't know. Even with all the drops, still no turnovers today. No turnovers today. I know you've been looking for that. 2 touchdowns today. If we look on the season, he's probably, I don't know, what are we looking at the season right now? 64%, even with the horrible percentage today, 64%, 12 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. And that's with a horrible start of the season. So if I had to give Will a grade today, I would probably give him B. Yeah, I give him a B. Hell, if I go down the line and give grades to every position, give Will a B. Give Tony Pollard what Tony do today? 8 for 35. Not a lot. With a fumble. No, he had a big catch in the second half. But how many drops did Tony have today? Like I'd give Tony a C minus. Tajay Spears was non-existent today, and that's one thing we got to talk about. Tajay, man, we were going into the season thinking Tajay was about to be that guy. Um, we were thinking it was going to be a nasty 1-2 punch, and that just has not been the case. And that's fine. Like I'm not tripping, but that's just has not been the case. And going into next season, like, can I say I'm still confident that we have a nasty 1-2 punch at running back? I don't know, man. I don't know. Tajay, I don't even want to look at. I know he's been injured for. No, he just came back from the concussion, right? So he missed a couple weeks, and before that, it was a hamstring, I believe. So I know his stats on the season cannot be great. They just cannot. 44 carries for $164. That's not going to get it done, bro. And I know Tony's been more of like the bell cow. He's got a lot more touches this season, but damn, bro. Damn, we were thirsty for Tajay Tony this season. Thirsty. I'm not giving up on him, but I will say the hype for that 1-2 punch next season has dropped for me. So going back to grades, I'm giving running back group a C minus. It's damn near D plus. Wide receivers. Shout out to Nick Westbrook, Akina, man. Shout out to NWI because he hooped today again, 2 touchdowns. That man is just misconsistent. He did have a couple drops today, which was a little shocking because he usually doesn't do that. And I've been on the record for saying NWI is not who you want to have as a wide receiver number 2, but shit, at this point, I don't know. You down there got to give NWI a contract next season, bro. At least a 2-year, $8 million type of situation. Like the numbers he's putting up, I believe he's 4th in the league in touchdowns. That's crazy. If I would have told you going into the season that Nick Westbrook Akina would be 3rd, 4th in touchdowns by week 13, you would call me insane. 100%. Calvin Ridley, he could have had a better game today. There was a pass. I saw the replay. I think it was 3rd quarter. Ran a route and just stopped running the route. And Will Levis threw damn near a dime, and he had to go for a one-hand catch because he just stopped running the route. So that should have been another catch. Calvin really could have easily had 4 catches for 100 yards today. Easily. Tyler Boyd, solid, I guess. Tyler's on the season. Tyler Boyd has just been very, very meh. Very meh. Again, Chig had a couple catches today. Josh Wiley, Nick Van Nett, like again, these tight ends, man. I would argue that we may have the worst tight end group in NFL. I would argue that. So that's the offensive end. I don't even want to talk about the offensive line. We know the offensive line. I think they only gave up 2 sacks today, but it could have easily been a lot more today. Easily. And to Will Levis's credit, honestly, those 2 sacks were escape sacks. Like they weren't like 8-9 yard losses. They were Will Levis dropbacks. He escapes, gets I don't know, runs up in the pocket and loses 1 or 2 yards, and those are sacks. There weren't any like drive inning sacks today. So I don't know if I'm giving Will Levis credit for that or the offensive line credit for that. JC had a much better game than he did last week. We don't want to talk about last week. But overall, JC, I'm pretty happy with JC. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think he's solidified as left tackle for the future. So not tripping on bro. Peter Skoronski, still solid. We're missing Lloyd up front, but that right side, man. Whew. That right side is nasty. Nasty. But on the defensive end today, it's just not good enough. Just not good enough. I don't know what the plan is off season, and we could talk about that later. But we have to get some edge rushers, bro. Like we do not put any pressure on the outside on any quarterback. All our pressure comes from inside. And that pressure's not fast. It's not like Devondre Sweat and Jeffrey Simmons are getting to the quarterback immediately. Like, those are big dudes. Like, that's damn near, I don't even want to say that's their job to get to the quarterback as often as the edge will be. So Harold Landry has to be better. And Harold Landry's been solid this year, but Arden Key has just been a headache. A headache. Like I mentioned earlier, the Commanders scored nothing but touchdowns today. One of them could have been a field goal if Arden Key didn't have the dumbass, the roughing the passer of going high on Jaden Daniels. Like, that was crazy. But Jalen Harrell, we were going into the season thinking Jalen Harrell was going to be solid. He hasn't done much this season. Like I said, Harold Landry's been, if I had to guess, he probably has like 6 sacks on the season, which is just cool. It's just not enough, bro. It's just not enough. We get no pressures on the quarterback. I'm willing to bet. Again, I don't know this stat off the top of my head, but I'm willing to bet that we are at the bottom in terms of sacks. I'm willing to bet that we are damn near bottom, at the very, very bottom in sacks this season. And it's not all on the D line. I mean, it's not all on the edge, but man, I was wrong. We're near the bottom though. The Falcons got 15 sacks on the season. That's horrible. We're at 26, near the bottom. Broncos with 44 to lead the league, but 26 is not going to cut it, man. It's just not going to cut it, bro. We got to get a lot more pressure on the quarterbacks. It's just not happening right now. Jaden Daniels I don't know, man. When I watch other teams, bro, they just be having so much time in the pocket to throw. And we look like those teams. Like, we do not put any pressure on quarterbacks. And on the flip side, that's not us on the offensive line at all. Will Levis called snap, and 0.5 seconds, it feels like pockets collapse. Like, we're just not a good football team. And again, that is fine. We just need to come to terms with it. And I'm not even sitting here saying that we need to lose the rest of the games for a higher draft pick. That's not what I'm saying at all. I just don't want us we were talking about playoffs. Why are we talking about playoffs? We were saying that there's a chance. There is no chance, guys. There is no chance. If I had to look at the draft order right now, what's that, NBA? If I had to look at the draft order for NFL, I think we went into this week at 6th spot. We are now at the 7th spot. And I'm fine with that. I'm not sitting here saying that we need to have the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. We don't need the number 1 pick to get better. What do we have? The 6th pick last year. We got JC, and JC has been a stud. So you can easily get better with the 6th pick or the 7th pick in the NFL draft. It's all about drafting the right guy. At this point, I know a lot of people are calling for Will Levis's head. I'm just not there yet, man. I'm just not there yet. Wide receiver, edge, it has to be either of those two at this point. And I'm as the more touchdowns NWI scores, the less I feel like we need a wide receiver in the first round. The more I feel like we need an edge in the first round. Because I don't want to see Arden Key and Harold Landry. I'm not throwing shade on Harold Landry. I fuck with Harold Landry. Harold Landry has been a dog. I think he's our longest tenure Titan at this point. So he's been here for a while. He's been hooping. I'm not saying we need to get rid of him. I know we are paying a premium from him right now. I'm not saying we need to get rid of him, but we gotta be looking for other options on the edge. Like, we put zero fear into anybody when it comes to edge rushers. So right now, if I had to put a race on it, I would say wide receivers right here, and edge is probably like right here. Like, they're very close. They're very close. But yeah, man. So 19-14. It was a nasty game. But if I had to call out any highlights of today, I would give one to Will Levis. Will Levis again played solid. for the fourth week in a row. Played solid. Considering everything, considering the amount of time he had the ball, considering the fumbles. Yeah, he played solid. He did not have a great completion percentage, but I saw something earlier today. Let me see if I can find it real quick. But like the amount of drops we had were insane. I count 8 possibly. I believe it was 8 drops. Nick NWI dropped 2, Calvin dropped 2, Tony dropped 2. So that's 6 right there. There was a pass that Will was a little inaccurate today. I'm not gonna lie, little balls behind people, but for the most part, all those passes hit the wide receiver's hands, and we all know, man, if it hits your hands, bro, you got to bring it in, bro. Y'all in the NFL, man. Y'all got to bring it in. So I counted 8 drops. If you count those completions, what's that? 26 for 37. Again, a very solid outing for Will Levis. That would have been 26 for 37 for, I don't know, 275. Another solid ass day for Will Levis. So his arrow is trending upward right now, which we needed it to before the end of the season. And I think that's still the number one objective of the season. Like, all these games matter. Don't get me wrong. Like, win, loss. Like, I would love to win some more games this season because I really don't care about our draft position that deeply to say, like, oh, we need to be tanking to get number 1. We need to be competing in games. Like, we don't need 19 to 42 games. We need 21 to 22 or 20-23. Like, we need competition. Like, we need to be in competitive ass games for Will Levis to get these reps, to continue to progress, for this team to get reps together, to continue to progress. That's what we need. That's still the objective. I'm not putting anybody on the hot seat. Brian Callahan is not on the hot seat. He's a brand new head coach in the NFL with a subpar roster. Like, the roster is not a top tier roster. All right. I think we were gassing it up a little bit going into the season. Oh, we got this, we got that. Will Levis is about to throw for 4,000 yards. Pump the brakes, y'all. We're not there yet. It takes time in the NFL. I'm still willing to give Callahan 2 full seasons before I even think about throwing anybody on the hot seat. My personal belief in the NFL is that people move on far too quick. Rome was not built in a day. Like, yes, we have these moments where people are like, they hit the ground running, but it doesn't happen that often, guys. Like, it takes time in the NFL. So we need to continue to give these guys time because this shit's not going to happen overnight. So like I said, Brian Callahan, I'm giving bro 2 full seasons before I even think about how to say, unless he does something egregious next season or this season. Even then, I don't know. I'm still willing to give bro 2 full seasons before I even think about firing or hot seat. The only person that I will say probably needs to go, that damn special teams coach. Man. Whew. Special teams has been nasty this season. Nasty work. And today it happened again. Another fumble on the special teams kickoff. It has been bad. And I was kind of big on Jaquan Jackson coming into the season. Like, I thought he was going to be a really good punt returner, kick returner. B, a really good like 3rd, 4th wide receiver on the depth chart. And neither of the two have been the case. Like, he barely gets any reps on the offensive end. And when he does get the touches on the special teams, like, no plays really pop off. So it's like no plays are popping off and he's fumbling the ball. I think that's 2 fumbles 2 weeks in a row. So I'm worried about bro. I don't know. Talking about hot seat, he may be on the hot seat for real. I saw Tajay Spears get a kick return in the second half, and maybe that might be the new rotation moving forward with Tajay Spears and Julian Chestnut returning kicks, because Jaquan, whew, I don't know, buddy. I don't know. So if there's anybody on the hot seat, it's special teams head coach or special teams coach, and that's about it. Denard Wilson has been solid. I'm honestly hoping that the defense could. I want to say I'm hoping that the defense struggles. That's not what I mean, but I don't want Denard to leave next season. So if the defense excels, which I don't foresee it happening because we're so damn injured, but if the defense excels, there's a chance that someone tries to poach Denard Wilson, and we no longer have him as a DC next year. And I really don't want that to happen. I would love to keep this same nucleus of individuals for the most part. Like I know there's going to be some turnover, of course, but I don't want it to be too much, too much. So yeah, highlights. I would say Will Levis, NWI. Those would be those game balls for me. Two people that need to just get, or I don't say get off the field, or one person needs to get off the field. That's Jaquan. I can't even say bro name. Jaquan Jackson and the special teams head coach. Other than that, let everybody else rock out. Next week we have the Jacksonville Jaguars, which I don't know if y'all saw that hit that Aziz put on Trevor Lawrence. That was nasty. So I'm not even sure if Trevor Lawrence is playing next week. So we will see how that game goes. I may be back later this week to kind of give a preview of that game. I'm hopeful that we win. We're at home. But man, you never know these days. You really never know. Even if it's a backup, you never know. So I might do some research and come back do a little preview of that game. Other than that, yeah, man, this is it's been a two-tone tailgate talking about the Titans getting smacked today. Nasty work. But I'm gonna catch y'all, man. I hope y'all have a good evening. I'm gonna holler at y'all later.